Hear me out. I'm starting to think motivation was never the real problem. Because if motivation was the answer, then why are so many people trying their absolute hardest and still feel exhausted, behind, and guilty for not doing enough? Maybe you're not lazy. Maybe you're just tired of carrying a life that never seems to slow down. Everywhere you look, someone is telling you the same thing. Wake up earlier, be more disciplined, so stop being lazy, lock in, want it more, work harder, no excuses. And after hearing it enough times, you start believing that if you're not moving fast enough, if you're not productive enough, if you're not building your dream fast enough, then it must be your fault. So you blame yourself. You tell yourself you're wasting time. You tell yourself you're falling behind. You tell yourself other people are doing more than you, so clearly you're just not trying hard enough. But hear me out. What if the problem isn't that you don't want it badly enough? What if the problem is that you're trying to build a life while surviving one at the same time? Because a lot of people right now are not just unmotivated, they're overwhelmed, they're mentally tired, they're emotionally tired. They try to balance 10 things at once and then feeling guilty for not doing an 11th. Some people are working a job they don't even like just to make it through the month. Some are studying while working. Some are trying to build a side project, a business, a YouTube channel, a better future for themselves after coming home already drained. Some are trying to deal with family problems, relationship problems, money problems, overthinking, loneliness, and still somehow show up every day like everything is fine. And then the internet looks at the person and says, maybe you just need more discipline. No. Sometimes discipline is not the problem. Sometimes the problem is that the person has been in survival mode for so long that they don't even remember what it feels like to do something with a full battery. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's easy to tell someone to just work harder when you don't see what they're carrying behind the scenes. It's easy to call yourself lazy when all you see is the part where you didn't do enough today. But you don't see the full picture. You don't see the mental load. You don't see the stress. You don't see the pressure. You don't see how tired you've become from constantly trying to keep everything together. And maybe that's why this whole motivation conversation annoys me sometimes. Because not every problem can be solved by another productivity video. Not every problem can be solved by forcing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. and pretending your life is fixed. Not every problem is laziness. Sometimes you don't need another how to stay motivated video. Sometimes you need sleep. Sometimes you need peace. Sometimes you need one day where you're not pushing yourself for resting. And sometimes you need to admit that you're tired instead of turning your exhaustion into a personality flaw. And I know that sounds simple, but it matters. Because the way you speak to yourself when you're struggling changes everything. If every time you feel low energy, you instantly call yourself lazy, weak, unproductive, behind, not good enough, and then of course you're going to feel even worse. Of course you're going to start resenting yourself. Of course it's going to feel impossible to move. You're not just carrying life at that point, you're carrying your own voice tearing you down on top of it. And I think a lot of us do that without even realizing it. We are tired. But instead of asking why we are tired, we attack ourselves for it. We say, why can't I just do it? Why am I like this? Why can everyone else stay consistent except me? Why do I keep falling off? Why can't I just be disciplined? But maybe the better question is, what is actually draining me right now? Is it work? Is it stress? Is it lack of sleep? Is it comparing myself to everyone online? Is it trying to do too many things at once? Is it the pressure to have my whole life figured out? Is it the fact that I never let myself rest without guilt? Because once you start asking those questions, the whole conversation changes. Now it's not what's wrong with me. Now it becomes what do I actually need? Maybe you need a structure. Maybe you need less pressure. Maybe you need to stop trying to improve every part of your life at the same time. Maybe you need to focus on one thing instead of carrying 5 unfinished goals and feeling bad about all of them. Maybe you need a break that you don't have to earn first. Maybe you need to stop treating yourself like a machine. And no, this is not me saying give up or stop trying. I'm not saying throw your dreams away because you are tired. I'm saying maybe the path forward isn't bullying yourself into becoming someone else. Maybe the path forward is understanding yourself better. Because there is a huge difference between someone who doesn't care and someone who cares so much they've burned themselves out. A lazy person doesn't usually sit there feeling guilty that they're not doing enough. A lazy person doesn't overthink every hour they wasted. A lazy person doesn't spend their nights worrying that they're falling behind in life. A lot of people calling themselves lazy are actually the exact opposite. They care too much, they think too much, they compare too much, they carry too much. And they've been doing it for so long that now they can't tell the difference between burnout and failure. And I really want people to hear that, because I know how easy it is to look at your unfinished goals, your bad days, your inconsistent habits, your low energy weeks, and decide that you're the problem. I know how easy it is to watch someone online with perfect routines and perfect discipline and think, why can't I be like that? But you're not seeing their full life, and more importantly, you're not being fair to your own. You know what I think a lot of us need? Not more pressure, not more shame, not another person yelling at us to want it more. I think we need honesty. I think we need to be honest about the fact that some of us are trying to build future while barely keeping up with the present. I think we need to be honest about the fact that being tired does not make you weak. And I think we need to stop turning every human struggle into a discipline problem. Because yes, discipline matters, consistency matters, showing up matters, but you can't build real consistency by hating yourself every time you fall behind. You can't build a good life while constantly talking to yourself like an enemy. And you definitely can't heal exhaustion by pretending it's laziness. So no, maybe you don't need more motivation. Maybe you need to slow down long enough to figure out what's actually missing. Maybe you need better sleep, better boundaries, better balance. Maybe you need to stop chasing 10 things and choose one thing to do properly. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for being a human. Maybe you need to stop expecting yourself to perform at 100% every single day while your mind and body are clearly asking for help. And maybe, just maybe, you need to stop calling yourself lazy when you've been in survival mode this whole time, because I know there are people watching this who are trying. Not pretending to try, not talking about trying, actually trying. Trying to work, trying to study, trying to save money, trying to build something on the side, trying to become someone they're proud of, trying to keep going even when they feel behind, tired and invisible. And if that's you, then hear me out. You don't need to earn the right to be tired. You don't need to prove that your exhaustion is valid. And you do not deserve to be punished by your own mind every time you slow down. Take accountability, yes, but also take care of yourself. Push forward, yes, but don't destroy yourself trying to prove that you're not lazy, because the goal was never to become a machine. The goal was to build a life you actually want to live. And if you're tired right now, if you've been blaming yourself, if you've been thinking you're just lazy because you can't keep up with everything, maybe this is the sign to stop attacking yourself for a second and actually ask what you need. Not what the internet says you need, not what some influencer says you need, not what looks productive, what you actually need. Because motivation was never the full story, and maybe the reason you feel stuck isn't because you're weak. Maybe it's because you've been caring too much for too long. So if nobody told you today, let me be the one to say it. You're not lazy for being tired, you're not broken for struggling, and you're not behind just because life has been heavy. You might just need a different way of moving forward. And if this video felt like it was talking to you, then tell me in the comments, what has actually been draining you lately? Not the fake answer, the real one. Because I think more people feel this way than they admit. And maybe, if we start being honest about it, we stop feeling like we have to carry it alone.